Are we live right now? Wait a second. Is it Tuesday already? Hold up, Star Wars fans. What is going on? Are we live right now? Are we live right now? What is going on? George Lucas talking to people at Disney? Wait. What? What? Ahsoka possibly getting a season 2? What's up, Star Wars fans? It's Mike, a guy who loves Star Wars. We got a lot, and I mean a lot to talk about tonight. George Lucas talking with Tony Gilroy, talking with other people at Lucasfilm. Of course, his apprentice, Dave Filoni, but other people at Lucasfilm. Also, Ahsoka possibly getting a second season. Ahsoka show possibly getting a second season as well. We have to talk about Luke Skywalker. Mark Hamill himself saying that he doesn't want to come back. He thinks Luke should not be a character that's around anymore. Bo-Katan and Din Djarin were supposed to kiss in season 3. What else? Star Wars The Old Republic, something about Star Wars The Old Republic. What else? There's so much going on. There's so much going on, and we're going to cover all of it tonight. It's going to be a great stream. So smash a gosh darn like on this video, hit that subscribe, do all that fun stuff so you get notified every time I post a video, blah, 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 blah. Let's get into it immediately. Ahsoka Season 2. Let's start there. Let's start with Ahsoka Season 2 because, let's be honest, we got a lot to talk about and we can't waste any more time, okay? Ahsoka Season 2 right away. Tell me in the chat, do you want it? Do you want it? Do you want it? First in today is Ed Chilton. What's up? Ed says, a great stream or the greatest stream? This is going to be the greatest stream, but that just means that Thursday is also going to be the greatest stream and Saturday is going to even be greater than that stream because every stream here is the greatest stream. So do we want a season 3 of the, season 3, I'm getting way too far ahead of myself, season 2 of the Ahsoka show? What do we think? Honey Badger says, yes, he is live. This is the live stream. Okay, calm down. Yes, give me more Sabine. I'll take more Ahsoka. But here's the thing. Now, before you guys all chime in about whether or not there should be a second season of this show, what about the fact that we haven't even watched the first season? Now, we are anticipating that this season's going to be insane. It's going to blow our minds, and we're all going to be very, very happy to be Star Wars fans now. However, that's not always the case with us as Star Wars fans. Think about the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. When we were going into the Obi-Wan Kenobi show last year, we were all like, holy crap, how could they possibly mess up Obi-Wan and Anakin? And then we got what we got. Now, I think the Obi-Wan Kenobi show was a good show, had the potential to be absolutely fantastic, especially with the characters of Obi-Wan and Anakin. The finale was fantastic, but there was some parts, it should have been a movie. It was made to be a movie. However, the Ahsoka show has Dave Filoni, of course. It is Dave Filoni's baby. So we have more faith in the Ahsoka show. But there is always the off chance that it is another letdown for the Star Wars community. So, with not having seen the first season of Ahsoka, do you guys think it's a smart idea still to already A-OK a second season? Let's put it that way. Let's see. Jonathan Welch, what's up? Jonathan says maybe. Depends on how good the first one is. So you think they shouldn't A-OK a second season until we see the first one. And that's probably smart. That is probably the smart business decision to make. But Disney's dumb and they do stupid things all the time. So we'll see. Ed says, I want 8 seasons of Ahsoka. Honestly, me too. But here's how I think it's going to go. I think we're going to get season 1 of the Ahsoka show. Now, regardless of how it is, it all depends on how the fan base reacts to it. So if the fan base takes it in and says, this is amazing, we want more of this, they're going to do that. Look at the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. We had a stream last week, a week ago today, actually, talking about the Kenobi show season 2. And we talked about whether or not there should be a second season of the Kenobi show, how Ewan McGregor wants to come back and do a second season, how Kathleen Kennedy said the door's always open for a second season. Everybody says they want a second season. That was supposed to be a limited series, but now Lucasfilm sees that they could make some money off a second season of that show. It's all about money with Disney and Lucasfilm and Kathleen Kennedy. So it's really, will the Ahsoka show bring in money? That's the biggest issue. because it's a character like Ahsoka and not a character like Obi-Wan. Because Obi-Wan is, of course, from the beginning in A New Hope in 1977. He's been there from the start, and he's been a fan favorite character from the start. Ahsoka has always lived in animation. She's just come to live action recently, the last 2 years in the Mandalorian season 2 and in the Book of Boba Fett, and now she's getting her own show. However, the casual Star Wars fans, and I'm sure many of you aren't casual Star Wars fans, hence why you're here at a freaking channel on YouTube called A Guy Who Loves Star Wars and watching me talk about Star Wars. But the casual Star Wars fan probably knows about Ahsoka, but doesn't actually know who Ahsoka is, probably has heard the name before. It's going to be very, very interesting to see those first week numbers for the Ahsoka show, to see how the numbers either increase, stay the same, or even maybe even decrease as the season goes on of the Ahsoka show, just to see how the casual fans are reacting to it. Because you got to think back to 2019. 2019, when we got the first season of The Mandalorian. Nobody knew who The Mandalorian was. Nobody knew who Din Djarin was, but that show was a massive hit because of Grogu. And of course, because the show was amazing, but Grogu was what brought in the casual fans. Baby Yoda. Everybody was in love with Baby Yoda. Ahsoka doesn't have that. Ahsoka doesn't have that thing pulling in the casual fans. It doesn't have that cash grab, as a lot of people call Baby Yoda or Grogu. I mean, look down. He's on your shirt. I can guarantee it. He's on all your shirts right now. He literally says his name, and he's on my shirt. It's a double whammy. But the thing with Grogu is, sure, he's a money tactic. He is the future of Star Wars. With Ahsoka, it's a little different. You don't have Grogu bringing in the casual fans. You have, of course, Dave Filoni, the guy who created Ahsoka, being like, okay, look, I'm a god, so I'm going to create this epic season of this show. It's going to be like Rebels Season 5 almost. It's going to be that awesome. But not a lot of people watch Star Wars Rebels. Not a lot of people watch Star Wars Rebels, whether it was because it was animated, whether it was because they didn't like the animation style, or whether or not they thought it was a kids' show. There's a lot of people who just didn't watch Star Wars Rebels, and it's honestly a disgrace because that show is unbelievably good. I still say it's the most underrated piece of Star Wars content ever, but it is still unwatched by many. Honey Badger says, watch the stream and battleship with my family. Yo, are you winning? Who's winning? I bet you're losing. Sorry. I just know your brother's way better than you at battleship. I can already tell. He follows up and says, I know it's going to be special. It's Dave. Come on. It's Dave plus Ahsoka. It cannot miss. This show is something we'll be getting once in a lifetime. So a second season is catching lightning in a bottle twice. You might be onto something there, Badger, because it might just be that. And the thing is, if the Ahsoka show is wildly successful with the fan base, with the casual fans, rakes in a ton of money and a ton of views, then Dave Filoni's going to be in charge of everything. So this is a very, very, very important show for the Star Wars fandom. Because if we can get everybody to watch this Ahsoka show, and it is as good as we think it's going to be, Dave Filoni might get put in charge of everything. The reason that he got the Heir to the Empire movie, which is most likely going to come out within the next 3 to 5-ish years, I'd guess. The reason that he got that movie was because they screened the Ahsoka show and all these people said, holy crap, this is insane, Dave. Maybe we should put you in charge of more stuff. And he was like, yeah, did you guys watch Star Wars Rebels? And they were like, no, it was animated. Why would we watch that? That's pretty much how it went. Ed says, I think Ahsoka is going to have a lot of viewers. The Clone Wars, Rebels, and Rosario Dawson fans will all tune in. That's true. That is very true. But you have to remember, although there are millions upon probably billions of Star Wars fans around the world, not even like some non-casual fans, like some actually sweaty Star Wars fans, don't even watch the Clone Wars or Rebels. They don't watch those animated shows. And it is kind of a bad thing for the Star Wars fandom, but a live action show is going to get more views than an animated show 10 out of 10 times. So although there aren't as many Clone Wars and Rebels fans, like you said, Rosario Dawson fans, there are probably a lot of those as well. I just hope that the fandom will rally around the Ahsoka show like they rallied around The Mandalorian, without the Ahsoka show having to bring in Grogu to do that. I think it will, just because of the hype for Star Wars as of recent. You look at this year alone, you ended last year with Tales of the Jedi. You started this year with The Bad Batch, Mando Season 3, which got a ton of views. Mando Season 3 got a crap load of views. Regardless of how you thought about the season, it got a shit ton of views. Sorry, family show. And you had Jedi Survivor, which still is like the best video game I've ever played in my life. So if you haven't played that, go play it immediately. So maybe, just maybe, we're on the right track as Star Wars fans, and this show will get a lot of views just because Star Wars is on an incline right now. It started down here last year with the Book of Boba Fett. You were like, ooh, Luke, oh, never mind. And then you're like, oh, the Kenobi show, never mind. Oh, Rematch of the Century, never mind. Oh, Andor, that could be good, never mind. Oh my God, Tales of the Jedi! And you were like, holy crap, let's go. And from there, we've just been on a steady incline. So hopefully the Ahsoka show keeps riding that wave and we can keep moving into the Skeleton Crew show and into next year. Because again, it's the best time ever to be a Star Wars fan right now. So don't miss out on any of it by hitting that subscribe, guys. Of course. Okay. Oh, yeah. And if you want to join a Discord called The People Who Love Star Wars, go check it out. It's in the description below. Okay. Let's get into this, okay? We have leaked images from the Ahsoka show. We have Rosario Dawson says she wants to do a second season, blah, 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 blah. We got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to talk about today, and I'm already 11 minutes behind because I got so distracted because I'm so hyped for Ahsoka. Should I do the rest of the stream like this? Maybe I think I should. Okay. Okay. Where was I? Jonathan Welch says, yeah, I can't wait to see Ahsoka though. Yeah, Jonathan, I don't think you're in the minority there. I think many of us, especially on this stream, are very, very excited for that show. Honey Badger says, watching Battleship the movie. Oh, and I definitely suck at Battleship. Battleship the movie. Is it Battleship the movie? Is that the one where like the aliens attack Earth? That movie's underrated, honestly. It's really underrated. Honey Badger says, Ahsoka is Dave's baby. This show will be a point down to every correct detail. What? This show will be a point down to every correct detail. I have no doubt it will be spectacular. Honestly, me either. But we have to convince the normie fans of that as well. He follows up and says, yes, sir, super underrated. It was great. It is an underrated movie, for sure. Ed says, Tech? Omega is horror. I need season 3 of Bad Batch now. Omega is horror? What do you mean Omega is horror? Yeah, season 3 of Bad Batch will come out next year. And actually we don't know that for a fact. It never was given a release date, right? Yeah, no, so at Star Wars Celebration, the people there actually saw a Bad Batch season 3 trailer, meaning that show could come out a lot sooner than many people expect. I'm guessing early next year, but I mean, if a trailer's ready, that show could not be all that far behind. But let's get into this article. Let's get into it. So this is, what the heck? What's going on here? What's going on? Don't you just love it when stuff doesn't work? Okay, there we go. Fixed it. I fixed it. See, I told you guys I could do it. Okay, Ahsoka Season 2 gets hopeful update from Disney Plus star. Rosario Dawson, the actress behind Ahsoka Tano in the Star Wars live-action universe, shares her thoughts about her upcoming Disney Plus series getting more episodes. I'm going to echo everything at the end of each paragraph, okay? It would be an understatement to say that for Star Wars fans, Ahsoka is one of the most exciting projects on Lucasfilm's slate. It is very true. Of course, we know this here, that this is going to be the most anticipated show by us, the crazy Star Wars fans, the ones that watch me for some reason. Those Star Wars fans are going to highly anticipate this show. This show will be Ahsoka's first solo outing and also serve as a continuation of the many story threads from Star Wars Rebels. This includes the return of Jedi Ezra Bridger and the fan favorite villain Grand Admiral Thrawn. Rosario Dawson hopes for more Ahsoka episodes. You guys getting sick of the echo already? Too bad. Well, speaking with Empire Magazine, so yeah, this is all the Empire Magazine stuff we talked about on Saturday is coming out now. We're going to get more news about it tomorrow, and Thursday is when the whole magazine, I think, gets released. So that's probably when we'll get the most news. But most of these interviews and images and stuff are already coming out. So while speaking with Empire Magazine, Ahsoka star Rosario Dawson spoke on how she hopes more episodes are on the horizon. So Rosario Dawson notes that she's absolutely putting it out into the universe and that she got her ice packs ready to go for season 2. So obviously she goes through extensive like weight training and other workouts and stuff to stay in shape to play Ahsoka. It's not an easy role to play. She's got to put on all the makeup and stuff and the leku, and it's no easy task for sure. But here's what she says. I'm absolutely putting it out into the universe. We're joking about it, but I'm manifesting it because I feel like I helped Dave Filoni, Star Wars master of the Ahsoka Tano's co-creation, manifest this role. So I'm ready. I'm excited and I'm willing. I got my ice packs ready to go for season 2 and beyond. I would not be mad at that. So she would not be mad if there was a season 2 and beyond. And I'm guessing what she means by beyond is the movie, of course, the Heir to the Empire movie. But it's interesting what she says here. She says because she's manifesting because she feels like she helped Dave manifest this role. Now, I don't know if you guys have been around long enough, at least this channel. We talked about, it was so long ago. Like, actually, might have been even before the channel was created. But Rosario Dawson kind of just made herself Ahsoka. I think some fans made some concept art about her being Ahsoka online. This was years and years ago, probably even before Mando season 1. Losing my voice. Hang on. Do you guys remember that? Hang on. Some fans made some Ahsoka like fan art, and then she tweeted out about it and said like, hey, Lucasfilm, we should make this a thing. And it eventually ended up happening, and she did become live action Ahsoka. So kind of like she said, she kind of manifests the character coming into live action. So she's trying to manifest the second season as well, which I'm all for. I'm definitely all for. I didn't echo on that, but that's because it was a quote, okay? Respect Rosario Dawson. The actress then shared that what she loved about the character, which includes her extreme confidence and how complex she is. This is what Rosario Dawson says. She says, I love how confident she is. She's not fearless, but she never hesitates. She is so willing, but she does have worries. She does have stress, and she's gone through a lot of anxiety. She's had some really tough crises and traumas in her life. Yeah, you could say that again. I really dig how complex she is. Even her moments of just finding her way and butting heads and being stubborn and being wrong, having to deal with the pain of what that is when soldiers are dying under her command. Now, this is absolutely insane. What she's saying here could give us a window or a look into the Ahsoka show itself, but she could also just be referring to the Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels, because, of course, we see in the Clone Wars when she takes this whole army of clones, the 501st, and takes them to siege Mandalore. After that, when Order 66 happens, she has to bury all of them. So maybe she's talking about that, but also she could be talking about, when she says this at the end, having to deal with the pain of what that is when soldiers are dying under her command. She could be talking about one specific soldier here in Captain Rex. We've talked about this many, many times, that there's a possibility Captain Rex could be in the Ahsoka show. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think that Captain Rex could be in this first season of the Ahsoka show? And if not, do you think he would show up in a second season? And with all that being said, do you think she's referring to Captain Rex in this article right here? What do we think? I honestly think we could see Captain Rex, whether it be for a few scenes or whether it be for him sacrificing himself, whatever it is. I think Captain Rex will be involved. So, Will Ahsoka get a second season on Disney Plus? Before we read this paragraph right here, let's pull it up on the chat here for our own sakes. Let's do it. Do you want Ahsoka season 2? Yes or no? You tell me. You tell me. All right, let's finish this article off while you guys tell me what you guys want. Okay. As of last November, The Hollywood Reporter shared that a second season for Ahsoka is not yet greenlit. A continuation will depend on how well season 1 performs in its debut. We did talk about this back in November when this article did come out, but things have changed. November was 8 months ago now. That's crazy, dude. This year is flying by. It's already the 6th month. Oh, we'll talk about that. Somebody remind me to say something cool, okay? Just say, Mike, say something cool in the chat so that I remember after I read this article because I'm going to forget. Okay. A continuation will depend on how well its season 1 performs when it debuts. From the looks of it, fans seem extremely excited. So it is hard to imagine there will not be enough demand for more episodes. This will be especially true once the show incorporates both Ezra Bridger and Thrawn into the mix. These two characters coming in to live action, but also being such important characters, and Ezra Bridger being one of my favorite characters, but Grand Admiral Thrawn being the heir to the Empire. We saw his presence being felt in The Mandalorian Season 3, when they had the whole Shadow Council meeting about him, how they're so confident that he's going to come in and take over for the Empire. And I'm assuming with the Heir to the Empire movie, it's not going to work. Either Grand Admiral Thrawn is going to die or somehow be sent back into the New Beyond and trapped there, or whatever happens with him. It's not going to work. And that's when the First Order will rise up and Snoke will be created and all that other stuff. I'm sure. I am sure. But one thing that helps the series' chances is how with the inclusion of Thrawn, the project is clearly one of the key stepping stones to Dave Filoni's big crossover Mandoverse movie, or as we assume it's going to be called, the Heir to the Empire movie. A second season would also give more time to Rebels characters whose audiences are dying to see it. That is an understatement. Rebels fans are dying to see more of these characters. When we even got just one scene of Zeb Aurelius in Mando Season 3, we lost our shit. Well, there you go. Maybe Zeb Aurelius can get a big appearance, just like the brief cameo in The Mandalorian. Ahsoka is set to arrive on Disney Plus in August. Oh yeah, one brief shout out to Lucasfilm and Disney, and I'm going to make a full-on video. I'm making a full-on video just on this one thing, because they need to hear this. They need to hear this. The Ahsoka show has, this is a statement, Lucasfilm, Disney, I know you're watching. I know you watch. I know you're watching. This is a statement to you guys specifically, okay? The Ahsoka show does not have a release date yet. It says August, but there's no specific date, okay? Skeleton Crew, no specific date. Acolyte, no specific date. Tales of the Jedi Season 2, The Bad Batch Season 3, Mando Season 4, Andor Season 2. You name it. No dates set. Please put the shows on at least Friday. At least. But if you want to satisfy every single fan on the planet, put it on a Friday during an actual time of the day that people are awake. Anytime. Anytime that isn't between the hours of like 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. Any other time. Any other time. Any other time. That's my message to you guys, Lucasfilm, Disney, Kathleen Kennedy herself, anybody. Please. Wednesdays at 3 a.m. could be the stupidest idea that a company has ever had in the history of existence. And scene. I hope they got that message, and I hope they make a change, because I'm sick and tired of it, honestly. I'm sick and tired of it. Sick and tired of it. I want to do watch parties. I want to have fun. But on a Wednesday at 3 in the morning, it's hard. Okay, where were we? Ed says Omega seeing Tech fall off the gondola was and potentially dying. Wait, what? And potentially dying. Oh yeah. No, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, of course. Bad Batch Season 2. End of Bad Batch Season 2. Yeah, I can't wait for Bad Batch Season 3 as well, Ed. Edward. I'm calling you Edward from now on, Ed, okay? I know it's not even your name, but I'm calling you Edward, okay? Honey Badges says, I think Bad Batch Season 3 will drop in early 2024. Yeah, I probably agree with that. It might actually come out like the same time that Season 2 came out. Like the first, what was it, the 4th of the year or something like that? Like the first week of the year, that might be when the Bad Batch comes out as well. Anthony's back. What's up, Anthony? Honey Badger says, I do remember that. She made it, I do remember that. She made it happen, so let's make Season 2 happen. He's talking about Rosario Dawson making Ahsoka happen because she was like, hey, Lucasfilm, maybe I should be Ahsoka, and then it actually happened. Anthony says, Mike, I'm with you. Premiere Ahsoka at 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern time. More eyes, more revenue. Exactly. Even if you want to keep it Wednesday, which I think is stupid. It's the middle of a freaking work week when nobody's going to watch it until Friday anyway. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's called the weekend, Disney. Like the weekend. Ever heard of it? When people don't work. Except for me, because we do our live streams on Saturdays. But and actually, weekends is probably when I do my most work. But yeah, absolutely agree, Anthony. 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Even put it at 7 p.m. Pacific time. I'll watch it at 10 p.m. I'm on the East Coast. I'll watch it at 10 p.m. 10 p.m. is perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. Stupid. It's stupid. It's dumb. It's dumb. Stupid. Stupid. It's dumb. I didn't even think I was going to get into this giant rant, but, you know, that's what happens. That's what happens. Honey Badger says, yeah, Friday at 8 p.m., I'd say everybody is off work. 3 a.m. makes no sense. It makes zero sense. Like, who in their right mind came up with that? It makes no sense. They're like, okay, we could release our shows at any point in time throughout the entire week, 7 days. When do people work? Oh, Monday, Thursday. How does a week go? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay, so maybe we should do a weekend. No. Do it in the work week. They'll watch it. Do it in the work week. Okay, Friday? No. Thursday? No. Let's put it right in the middle of the week. Hump day! Mike. Guess what day it is? They said, oh, this guy, Mike, a guy who loves Star Wars, guy who loves Star Wars, his name is Mike. And they were like, oh, Mike. Guess what day it is? Let's do it on Wednesday. They're like, okay, Wednesday. Sure. What time of day should we release it? Like 6 p.m.? 6 p.m., but that would be like 9 p.m. on the East Coast. But then it would be like the middle of the night somewhere else in the world. Maybe we should put it in the middle of the night here, where we have the most fans, because they speak the most English. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I'm so sick and tired of it. There's not even a show coming out right now. That's how mad I am about this. I don't know why. I woke up this morning and I said, I can't believe the Ahsoka show is coming out this August and I have to wake up at 3 a.m. on a Wednesday to watch it. All right, I'm over it. Anthony says, yes, Friday premieres make so much sense. I guess that's not Disney's cup of tea. I guess Disney's just stupid. And what are you going to do? I mean, they made the sequel trilogy. What's worse, okay? Should we put a poll? No, we'll keep the poll up that we have now. What's worse? You guys can just tell me in the chat. What's worse, the sequel trilogy or the fact that Disney Plus Star Wars shows come out on a Wednesday at 3 a.m.? You guys tell me. Tell me in the chat. I got so heated, I'm already out of water. Dun dun. Ed, I know you're new around here. I gotta know, what did you think when I pulled out this big ass cup last stream? Anthony says, Mike, how are you doing today? I'm doing all right. clearly I think I'm losing my mind because we came on here to talk about Ahsoka getting a second season. And for the last like 10 minutes, I've been completely going out of my mind because shows come out on a Wednesday at 3 a.m. He says the air quality in the Northeast has been constricted due to those Canadian fires. Very true. There's a hazard over New York City. Really, hang in there. I'm perfectly fine. We do have some like weirder weather. It's been cold and rainy, but no, we're fine. We're fine here. We can take a little bit of cold weather as I'm in shorts and a short sleeve shirt. Yeah, no, it's fine. It just feels like April in June, you know? Oh, that was the thing. You guys, nobody reminded me. Okay. Today is June 6th. June is the 6th month of the year, meaning today is Order 66 Day. So I think we should make this a national holiday. I think we should. So we're going to start a thing here on the channel because this channel is going to be around for the rest of your lives and mine as well. And even past, I'll be an AI, you know, we'll keep going. Every June 6th, which is Order 66 Day, we're going to throw a party, okay? And this is the party. This stream is the party. And we're already 31 minutes into the party, and so far it's been a pretty great party. Not going to lie. Probably the best party I've ever been to. But, like, hang on. Let me, there we go. I didn't come prepared for this. Don't, okay. Order, hang on. Order. Actually, do I have like a hang on, guys. 1 second. This is going to blow your mind, guys. I actually can get out of this chair. Somebody entertain yourselves. Somebody say something funny in the chat, please. Tell a joke. Knock, knock. I'm back. Okay. Where were we? Oh yeah, Order 66 Day. Okay. I had to get a bigger marker because it didn't look good, you know. Well, now it still doesn't look good. Hang on, I need a bigger marker. How about this giant expo marker? Let's try that. Well, that's too. No. It's a lot harder than it looks, guys. My handwriting is so bad. I'm keeping this piece of paper forever. It's a national monument, actually. It's going to be put in museums all over the world. Okay. Where can I hang this? Hang on. Let's see. Chewie, come hold this down. Huh. I'm too good. Okay. It's Order 66 Day, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. All right. Ed says, knock, knock, who's there? Somebody, someone to fire KK, please. Yeah, I hope so. Okay. Where was I? Oh, yeah, I asked which was Where's the Sequel Trilogy or 3 a.m. Releases. And Ed said the sequel trilogy. Yeah, I probably have to agree with you there. But Honey Badger says, it's a great TED Talk. Disney needs to hear this. Yeah, I really hope they get my message. They'll see the Order 66 Day and they'll turn it right off because they hate the prequels. But I don't know. Well, I hope they see it. Honey Badger follows up and says, definitely 3 a.m. drop time. I'll watch. Definitely 3 a.m. watch times. I'll watch episode 8 100 times over again rather than wait up until 3 a.m. Really? You think 3 a.m. is worse than the sequel trilogy? That's a bold take. That's a bold take. Good cups follow orders. Yeah, so Ed, this is the good cup and it follows orders. As you can tell, it's gone through some wear and tear and it's seen some things. So it's a good cup that follows orders. That's why Honey Badger says in all caps, good cups follow orders every time I pull out this cup. You know, just some fun things we like to do here on the channel because we like to have fun here. This is an all fun channel. Anthony says the sequel trilogy without question. The damage that episode 7 through 9 is near catastrophic. So much so that Disney releases 3 separate Star Wars movies to cover different bases for success with the money sign. Yeah, it's true. The sequel trilogy did permanent damage to the brand forever. And regardless of how you like, even if you're like, I didn't like the sequel trilogy, but I'm willing to come back and watch the other stuff, there's a lot of people who just have sworn off Star Wars completely just because they don't like the sequel trilogy, or sworn off all new projects because they don't like the sequel trilogy. The amount of comments I get on YouTube now, on Instagram, wherever, that just say, I don't watch Disney Star Wars because it's trash. Disney died when when Lucas sold it. George Lucas sold it. This is all hot garbage, blah, blah, blah. Like, I made the Natalie Portman video, and it did pretty well. Thank you guys very much for watching that video. But it did pretty well, and there were some people commenting on it like, no, God, please, no, don't bring back Padme from the dead. I was like, well, clearly you just didn't watch the video, because I was talking about flashbacks or the World Between Worlds with a brief scene of her coming in, because if Ahsoka's going back to the Mustafar to help Anakin not turn from the dark side, she's going to use Padme. But I guess they don't watch the videos. They just see the title and say, Padme coming back from the dead. No, Disney's terrible, blah, 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 blah. But that's what the sequel trilogy did to the fan base. It really divided the fan base in a big, big way. So yeah, sequel trilogy, it was, like Anthony said, nearly catastrophic to the fandom and to the brand itself. I'm just going to repeat Ed's joke because it was hilarious. Sorry, Edward's joke because it was hilarious. Knock, knock, who's there? Someone to fire Kathleen Kennedy, please. Exactly. Honey Badger says, hey, happy Order 66 day. This is the day. This is the day. I get it. Funny joke. Anthony says, Ed, based on certain established Hollywood journals and magazine articles, even La La Land is starting to question... Even La La Land? You mean Hollywood? La La Land is starting to question Kathleen Kennedy's importance to Lucasfilm Ltd. going forward. I think she's gone by the end of the year. I still think she's gone by the end of the year, and I always reiterate this, even though I shouldn't, because if she isn't gone by the end of the year, I won't have to give it away. But I did say last November that if in a year from now, which means this November, if Kathleen Kennedy is still with the company as the president, if she's not fired yet, I will give away a lightsaber, one of the Galaxy's Edge lightsabers. Easy for me to remember. I will be giving that away in November if Kathleen Kennedy's not gone. That's how confident I am that she still will be gone by the end of this year. I think Indiana Jones might make a lot of money, but the reviews are going to be so bad. People are going to realize that it's not good, but it's just going to make a lot of money because it's Harrison Ford and it's Indiana Jones, and it's just bound to make a lot of money. But I still think that the consensus around Indiana Jones is going to be a bad one, and I hope it's good. Honestly, I really do. But I think it's going to be like, oh God, no, please no. But I think Kathleen will be fired almost immediately after that whole debacle that is Indiana Jones. Completely going off topic. Has anybody seen Across the Spider-Verse yet? I saw that movie yesterday, and oh my goodness. I'm still like rattling it around in my head again. I'm going to see it again, I think, this weekend. I gotta watch it again because it might be one of the best comic book movies ever created. It's like up there with Infinity War in others. It's one of the best. It's up there with Infinity War, Thor Ragnarok, Civil War. Like, it's Winter Soldier. It's one of the best comic book movies I've ever watched in my entire life. And it's almost like a part one of two. It leaves you on a giant cliffhanger. No spoilers, of course. I won't give out any, and don't give out any in the chat as well. But it was unbelievable. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. If you haven't watched the first one, watch that one. I thought the first one was good. I think a lot of people overhyped the first one. I thought it was really, really good. But like, people were like, this is the greatest movie of all time. I was like, you're crazy. But this second one might actually be one of the best comic book movies ever. Just throwing that out there. I know it's a Star Wars stream, so we'll get back to Star Wars. Honey Badger says, yes, because episode 7 was great. 8 didn't exist, and 9 was I'd rather watch them all than stay up till 3 a.m. and watch Lizzo and Jack Black and the entire useless Dr. Pershing episode. I guess. Anthony says, the Dr. Pershing episode was meant to be in the Rangers of the New Republic show. Kathleen Kennedy forced that inclusion by firing Gina Carano. I believe Plaisir, was it Plaisir? I forget how it's pronounced. Plaisir 15 will be important in the Mandoverse. I thought that was going to be brought back in the finale. Plaisir 4 is the planet where Jack Black and Lizzo's character are. I did think that would be brought back in the finale because they were talking about how they were going to see Mandalore as like an actual planet and stuff, and they would respect them, blah, blah, blah. So I thought they were going to come in and help save the day from Moff Gideon and the Empire, but that didn't happen. But yeah, I do think that Plaisir 15 will be important moving down the line as well, Anthony. I agree. And the Dr. Pershing episode was definitely meant to be in the ranges of the New Republic. It still sucks that Gina Carano was fired, regardless of how you think about the situation. Her firing was not a good thing just for the brand in general, just for the story in general. The delays for Mando Season 3 were probably heavily involved with the firing of Gina Carano, and of course that Dr. Pershing episode. But I still think the Dr. Pershing episode was necessary. Maybe not as much time spent with him was necessary, but him being mind flayed was very important, seeing how he created Force-sensitive clones for Moff Gideon. Because if that episode didn't exist, we'd be like, well, where's Dr. Pershing? He could just go make some more Force-sensitive clones after Mando Season 3. However, we do know that Snoke still gets created, and so does Palpatine, but maybe that's not Dr. Pershing, or maybe that's Dr. Pershing again, who gets captured by the Empire again. It is cool to see also that Elia Kane is so high up in the New Republic ranks already, and she's a spy for the Empire. Like it's cool to see Coruscant in the New Republic and how shaky it is, and how easy it would be for the First Order to come in and step in, you know. Honey Badger says, that makes sense, but I don't know, it feels like a dumb filler episode to me. But agreed, Plaisir 15 will definitely come back. Yeah, I agree with that as well. Let's take a look at some of these leaked images from the Ahsoka show as well. This one, whoa, what the heck? This is a collider thing. This is a little article with it as well. We'll read a little bit of this as well. With Ahsoka taking place, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Does that work? Sure it does. With Ahsoka taking place around... Does that work? Yeah, it does. With Ahsoka taking place around the same time as The Mandalorian, in the time period following the fall of the Empire in Return of the Jedi, the galaxy far, far away may have thought itself rid of the menacing Inquisitors. However, in a new image released by Empire, ahead of the debut of the new Disney Plus show, it seems at least one has survived to pursue Rosario Dawson's ex-Jedi hero. So we saw the Inquisitor. I think some fan... Honey Badger, do you remember who saw that the Inquisitor... Was it... I forget. Somebody in the chat pointed out to me that there was an Inquisitor in the Ahsoka trailer. It was the 8th brother or something along those lines. And that was very, very cool to see an Inquisitor. We thought it was just a flashback. Now, this article is referring, or is saying that the Inquisitor survived and is somehow coming after Ahsoka again. I still think it's a flashback, but we'll take a good look at this. The Inquisitor's first appearance is in the animated TV show Star Wars Rebels, as an elite squad of Jedi hunters working directly under Darth Vader to rid the galaxy of those that remain following the execution of Order 66 Day, in Revenge of the Sith. The menacing cell of Sith-adjacent baddies has since gone on to make several appearances across Star Wars media, popping up in the game Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, as well as having notably made their live-action debut in last year's Obi-Wan Kenobi series. Having hunted down Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan, it seems Moses Ingram's Reva won't be the only Inquisitor Star Wars fans will get to see in live action. The newly released image of the upcoming Ahsoka teases a return of the deadly villains, despite the series taking place following the collapse of the Empire at the conclusion of George Lucas's original trilogy. While the identity of the mysterious new Inquisitor as well as the circumstances of how they survived and who they are, who they now report to. Jeez, I can't read it today. Remains to be seen. Audiences can be assured that they will no doubt be a force to be reckoned with. So this is the image that was leaked. Or not leaked, but released. Let's open it up so I can see it better. Zoom in on it. Boom, 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 boom. There you go. So this was the Inquisitor that we saw in the trailer. We believe it is the 8th brother. They're in the woods that looks like the woods from The Mandalorian Season 2 where we meet Ahsoka. So maybe that is the time frame of this whole ordeal. But we did see the 8th brother. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. We saw the 8th brother die. At least he fell to his death on Malachor 5 in Star Wars Rebels at the end of Season 2 when Ahsoka dies to Vader. When Darth Maul is back and reintroduced in Star Wars canon, he was on Malachor 5. He like persuades Ezra to get this Sith holocron. That is when the 8th brother shows up and dies. He's there to hunt down Maul, but runs into the rebels. He dies there. He falls to his doom. So it's either a flashback or he survived that and is still hunting down Ahsoka to this day. Now, you guys tell me what you think. Do you think he's still alive from that scene and this is actually taking place during the Mando time period after the original trilogy and somehow one of these Inquisitors survived? And if there's one, is there more? Or do you think it's a flashback sequence and the 8th brother is actually dead? And if it is a flashback sequence, are we going to get to see that whole Malachor 5 stuff play out in live action? Seriously doubt it, but that would be getting ahead of myself. That would be a little too insane, but maybe we could see something similar to that. But what do we think? Do you think we're going to see the 8th brother as a flashback or he survived that whole ordeal on Malachor 5? What do you guys think? Let me pull up the chat here. What do you guys think? Well, let me catch up real quick. Anthony says, I believe Plazier 15. Okay. Plazier 15 is cutting-edge defenses and communication systems will be vital to protect the Outer Rim and keeping connections with the core worlds. Jack Black's character knows Imperial Patrol. That is very true. Honey Badger says, I looked at Plazier 15. I don't know why I keep calling it 55. As the new Mandalore for the Mandalorians, because unfortunately I think Mandalore will eventually be completely wiped out, and the domes on Plazier 15 are similar to that of Mandalore. I don't think so. I think they finally got back to Mandalore, and that's where they're going to stay. I think the Mandalorians are happy to be home, and that's where they're going to stay. I think Plazier 15 is very similar because they got the domes and stuff, and maybe they'll help each other out. But I don't think so. I think they're going to stay there. I think they're staying there for sure. I'm unstoppable. I'm sorry. That song stuck in my head. Regardless of whether or not it's a flashback or not, seeing an Inquisitor in live action is going to be very, very cool. It's intriguing to just speculate about, but it's going to be very, very cool. And this is an official image from the Ahsoka show itself. Very, very, very cool. Let's keep reading this article, though. What else should you know before watching Ahsoka? Actually, we don't need to read that. Is there any other leaked images, or is that the only one that came out today? I think we're going to get more probably tomorrow, and of course the entire magazine on Thursday. So hopefully that comes sooner rather than later. You know. All right, let's wait. Let me I'm gonna pull up the Ahsoka trailer real quick. Let's do that right now. Boom, boom, boom. Ahsoka trailer. Unstoppable. All right, let's see if I can pinpoint that Inquisitor real quick. Oh, found him. I'm too good. All right, let's see this right here. So this is the Inquisitor that we just talked about. So this is the trailer itself. Boom, right there. So it's a brief scene of just Ahsoka pushing him backwards. They're fighting on this, looks like a they're building ships in the background or something here. Maybe it's a manufacturing place or something along those lines. But it's hard to tell whether or not it's a flashback or not. I mean, you really can't tell. She's wearing the same robes that she was in The Mandalorian Season 2. So that kind of makes us think that it's not a flashback. It's definitely the 8th Inquisitor. He's obviously got the Inquisitor's hilt right here. It's obvious that it is the 8th brother, the Inquisitor. But whether or not it's a flashback or not, we just don't know. We just don't know. Of course, this is her in the same outfit. Weird statue with some big feet. At this temple, like a destroyed temple, where we think she's going to enter the world between worlds. But we don't know if this is a flashback or not. We don't know. We have to wait and see. We'll just have to wait and see. Ed says, could it be like the opening montage showcasing Ahsoka and what she's been up to? That's interesting. Do you think there'll be a montage? Do you think Edward is correct here? Do we think there's going to be a montage to explain where Ahsoka has been this entire time? I think not. Just because, like, Dave Filoni's so good at just throwing characters in there and kind of explaining where they've been with dialogue, or like not really just like a montage like you are explaining here. Like when Ahsoka shows up in Rebels, it's like she's Fulcrum and she's been working with the Rebels, and you kind of just get that like immediately. I think Dave Filoni's really good at that. I think he's really good at being able to do that. So I don't think we'll get a montage, but there has to be an explanation as to where Ahsoka was during the original trilogy. There just has to be. So I don't know how Dave Filoni's going to go around that and get to the point, but I do believe he is the guy to do it. He is definitely the guy. He's that guy. Dave Filoni, as the Honey Badger loves to say, Dave Filoni is that guy. Honey Badger says, I think it's either going to take place right before Mando Season 2 or right after, because somehow she ends up with Luke, is when he's training Grogu, and she doesn't have the robes on that we see in the Book of Boba Fett. That is very true. So she's wearing those black or dark gray robes that she's wearing in The Mandalorian Season 2 a lot in that Ahsoka trailer. Let me pull it right back up. We pull it up from the beginning here. Now, maybe the trailer's just misleading us. We've seen trailers do this in the past, where trailers have misled people. The famous one is the Hulk being the Hulk in the Infinity War trailer when he's not in the Infinity War at all. But she's clearly got the same robes on here when she's at this Jedi temple. So we're led to believe this takes place after or before The Mandalorian Season 2, but before the Book of Boba Fett, because she's not wearing this cloak in the Book of Boba Fett. So she's wearing it there. She's wearing it there. She's wearing it there. Lucasfilm. We get Sabine. We get Ahsoka again. She's still wearing it, but that's the same location, so that's not a surprise. We get Harrison Dula. We gotta look at Shin. We gotta look at blah, blah, blah. So this might just be edited differently. Sabine has the long hair. She doesn't in the epilogue of Rebels, but this is supposed to be the same scene. So maybe it's just edited for the trailer to look this way. Maybe Ahsoka is in the white robes here. They're just playing tricks on us. But as of right now, she's still in the same robes, so we are led to believe that this is still before the Book of Boba Fett. Whoops. We get Thrawn there. Ahsoka again. So this is Ahsoka without, when she's saying Thrawn is going to show up as the heir to the Empire, she is not wearing the same robes. So we are led to believe that this is after the Book of Boba Fett. Now I know this is a far stretch. This is just her either wearing a robe or not. So it's hard to tell, but it's really the only thing we have to work with here. So when she's fighting Balin here, she's not wearing the robes as well. And we're led to believe that this is like an entrance to the world between worlds or something along those lines. R.I.P. Ray Stevenson. And then again here, when she's fighting the 8th brother, she's wearing the robes yet again. So it's got to be interesting. This show's going to be amazing, dude. Every time I watch that trailer, it gets me so ridiculously hyped. But it's going to be interesting. Maybe they're playing tricks on us. They played us like a fiddle. Anthony says, I think the first part, where Ahsoka says things have changed, talking to Sabine, takes place right takes place after meeting Din Djarin and Grogu. She's sad and intense. The Book of Boba Fett, she's smiling and has already met Luke, Leia, and Anakin. Interesting. So you think that the whole World Between Worlds sequence in the first half of the Ahsoka show is going to take place before The Mandalorian. Before the Book of Boba Fett. So before she's met Luke, before she's all happy and whatever, before she goes to the New Beyond. So that we know that there's going to be a time jump in this show. We've talked about this many, many times. So the first half of the show is going to take place probably before the Book of Boba Fett, and in that Mando season 2 time frame, and she's going to be going into the World Between Worlds, and all that other stuff is going to be happening there. She's going to try to change the past. Probably get introduced to Baylan, introduced to Shin. The villains are set up, and then you have her after the time jump, which will be after the Book of Boba Fett. And that's when she's going to go get Sabine. They're going to go get the Rebels crew back together, and they're going to go find Ezra. They're going to go find Thrawn, and they're going to go to the New Beyond. And that will be the second half of the season. That's where the time jump is, and that's where we think it's going to be. But is it going to be very easy and simple for the common fan to understand when this show takes place? Because the Mandoverse has had a problem. When does it take place? How big of a time jump is there between season 1 and season 2 of Mando, season 2 in the Book of Boba Fett, Book of Boba Fett in the Mandalorian? There's no real timeline going on here that is easy to follow. So with the Ahsoka show, when it's going to take time jumps and all this other stuff, it's going to be very confusing for a normal fan to catch up with what's going on. When does this take place? Who's alive? Who's dead? Has she met Din and Grogu yet? What's going on? So hopefully Dave Filoni has got that ready to go, and he's ready to explain that to us. Hopefully. Edward says, I think the real heir to the Star Wars empire is Dave Filoni. It's time to unseat Kathleen Kennedy. Definitely. Absolutely 100% agree. It's time. She's got to go. She's got to go. By the end of this year, she's got to go. If not for my sake, for the sake of the fandom and for the sake of Star Wars in general. But Dave Filoni is clearly the perfect heir. Everything he touches turns to gold, so why not let him touch everything? Pause. He could make this franchise what it should be. And he should be in charge. For sure, Edward. For sure. Actually, I saw somebody do the coolest video. Now, Dave Filoni wasn't really all that involved with season 3 of The Mandalorian, but it does go the same for Jon Favreau. They said season 3 of The Mandalorian was just Dave Filoni saying, and Jon Favreau for that matter, saying to Disney that, like, I am Din Djarin. Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni themselves, like the two of them, John and Dave are Din Djarin, and Bo-Katan and all these other people trying to take the Darksaber, trying to take the power from him, are Disney. And if you look back at The Mandalorian season 3 and how they just give up the Darksaber because they don't even want it. John and Dave don't even want to be in control, but they know that it's probably for the best of the whole of the Mandalorians, let's say, of the company, that they should be in charge, but they still give up the reins to Kathleen Kennedy or Bo-Katan in this instance. And it's really just them trying to, they're reluctant to take the power, but are willing to do it. It's very interesting. Look it up. I don't know where I saw it. It might have been on TikTok or something, but I should have saved it for the stream. I don't know. But it was fascinating, and it was very, very eerie how close it was to reality. Anthony says, supposedly, we've only seen clips from the first 2 chapters of the series. When she becomes Ahsoka, the Jedi Force mystic dressed in white in the Book of Boba Fett, she leaves to search for Ezra. Yeah, that's usually how it works with trailers. We usually only see clips from the first couple episodes, and that's probably what's going on here, except for maybe like Thrawn showing up. That might happen later down the line in the season. But that's usually the case. We probably don't see any clips from later on in the season in that trailer. So, yeah, I mean, if you rewatch the Mandalorian Season 3 trailer right now, you'd be like, oh yeah, all those clips are from the first couple episodes. So yeah. Should we do that? Let's do that real quick. Why not? Why not? The Mandalorian. Oh, we have so much stuff to get into though. We're already at the hour mark. It's too late. I already looked it up. All right, let's watch it. Why not? All right. We're getting so off track, guys. Somebody yell at me. Say, get on track, Mike. Get on track. Okay, here we go. We're off track anyway. Too late. This is from the first couple episodes. This is episode 3, I think, when they go rescue Rangar. That's from the first couple episodes. That's from all the episodes. This is when they're flying through hyperspace and Grogu sees the Purgle in episode 1. This is still from episode 1. Still from episode 1. This is also from episode 1 when he goes to Navarro for the first time. Episode 1, episode 1, episode 1, episode 1, episode 1, episode 1. This is from episode 2, I think, when he goes to Mandalore. I don't know why I couldn't remember that. This is from the first scene of episode 1 when he talks to the whatever. This is from episode 2, maybe. This is from episode 2, I think. Yeah, so you get the gist. It's all from episode 1 and episode 2. That's what they do with trailers, but we never know what greatness awaits us in the Ahsoka show. Anthony follows up and says, she'll be Ahsoka the White when we see Sabine meeting her on Lothal. That will probably be in the middle of the series, chapter 3 or 4, plus Skeleton Crew bumps into them in their last half. You think the Skeleton Crew will be introduced in Ahsoka? That would be smart, because then they could be like, oh, and the Skeleton Crew is going to have a spinoff coming out later this year. Because this Skeleton Crew show, we talked about how the Ahsoka show is going to have a struggle to get those casual fans to come watch. The Skeleton Crew show is going to have that issue even more, because nobody really knows about the show. And Lucasfilm and Disney, for some reason, are so bad at advertising for these shows. Honey Badger says, I think John and Dave should both take over Kathleen Kennedy's title at Lucasfilm. Give it to both of them, and they can have complete control over everything. Dave's understanding of Star Wars and John's movie IQ is a great combo. It is, and that's why The Mandalorian is so good. The first 2 seasons are just the two of them going insane. So yeah, I agree. Anthony says the introduction of Jedi Master Kelleran and Plaisir 15 was part of Dave Filoni's writing for season 3. That's why those characters in that new planet are so relevant for the future of Star Wars, or future of the story. Yeah, I completely agree. Dave Filoni clearly was a writer on those characters for a reason. For the future. Yeah, for sure. All right, let's move on, because we have so much other stuff to get to that doesn't even pertain to this. But let's stay in the same vein. We'll move on to this. It has to do with The Mandalorian season 3 as we talk about The Mandalorian season 3. All right. Bo-Katan kissed the Mandalorian in season 3's outtakes. So let's talk about this. Everybody wants the Bo-Din. Here's what Katie Sackhoff has to say about it. According to Katie Sackhoff's, Bo-Katan kissed Pedro Pascal's titular, love that word, hero in the outtakes for The Mandalorian season 3. Disney Plus's flagship Star Wars series has never outright featured a romantic connection between Bo-Katan and Din Djarin, but that has not stopped people from dreaming up what the scenario where the two ended up together would look like. Of course, up until this point, the relationship has remained strictly platonic, whatever, despite what those internet commenters may want. With the pair going their separate ways at the end of The Mandalorian season 3, with them going their separate ways at the end of the 3rd season. Mando and Bo-Katan sitting in a tree. Yikes. While speaking with the Phoenix Fan Fusion 2023, how do these people get to interview Katie Sackhoff? Like, why can't we interview Katie Sackhoff? What, Katie, I know you're watching. Jeez. Bo-Katan's actress Katie Sackhoff revealed a cut scene from Mando Season 3 featuring a kiss between her Star Wars character and Pedro Pascal's Din Djarin. This is very, 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 very interesting. seeing how we never even saw Din Djarin's face in this third season, the fact that there was an outtake of her kissing Din Djarin, that changes a lot. A lot. When asked about her favorite scene in the latest season of the hit Disney Plus show, Katie Sackhoff pointed out that there was a scenario between Bo and Din on the front of the boat, of course referring to this, during season 3's episode 7. So the question was, in season 3, your character Bo and Din, the Mandalorian, had a lot of scenes where it's just the two of you, and almost complete episodes where it's just the two of you. What was your favorite scene or most emotional scene that you and Pedro Pascal had during the season? Katie Sackhoff said, by the way, we talked about how Pedro Pascal was barely even never on the set at all for this third season. And this is interesting that we're hearing all this as well. So Katie Sackhoff says, so the scene between Bo and Mando on the front of the boat is like our Titanic moment. Like I'm the queen of the world. I wanted to stand at the front of the boat. It was begging for me to do that. She then adds that there was an outtake where her character and the Mandalorian kissed through the helmet. So this answers the question of how Pedro Pascal wasn't even on the set and they could actually do that. So, were there any outtakes where you gave it a shot or no? She says, there definitely is an outtake where Brendan Wayne grabbed my face and kissed me through the Mandalorian helmet. It was quite funny. Brendan Wayne is one of the men that wears the suit, and it was really funny. Now, there was obviously this romantic tension between Din and Bo, I almost just said Grogu, Din and Bo throughout the entire season, and that was on purpose. That has been stated many, many times. It was on purpose. However, this is interesting. They are kind of joking about it, but it was a serious thing going on. The Star Wars actress remarked that it was really, really important that the scene was so hard not to cry during filming. She said, but yeah, the scene for me was really, really important because it was a scene where he says that your song is not yet written. That is like, it is so hard not to cry during that scene. It was like wipe eyes, sorry. It was just so sweet of a moment. Looking back at the sequence, when looking back at the sequence in the way that it made it onto Disney Plus, Sackhoff said, oh my God, he loves her so much. And oh my God, I'm shipping them. So even she felt the tension and the romantic connection between the two when watching the show back. So it was obvious that it was there, and maybe further down the line in Mando Season 4 and further moving forward, we could get that as well. We saw Bo-Katan's connection with Grogu throughout the season as well, how she kind of becomes his mother, and maybe we do get to see that relationship go the way that it does. But it's very interesting. And they just go on to say if they think it will happen themselves. But we can speculate about it here. What do you think? Do you think that we will get Bo Din or Din in Katarin or Din Jartan? Do you think we'll see Bo and Din together at some point in Mando Season 4 or even further down the line? What do we think? And let me catch up on some chats here. Where was I? Boom, 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 boom. Anthony says, I absolutely agree. They would definitely, he's agreeing with the fact that John and Dave should take over Lucasfilm. They would definitely include George Lucas in the shepherding of the Star Wars universe going forward. There can be other creatives, writers, collaborators, but John and Dave are the gatekeepers. That's genius. It really is. It's not rocket science. Just put the two in charge. Like he's saying, they would even include George Lucas. George Lucas was on the set of every season of The Mandalorian so far. He was on the set of The Book of Boba Fett. He was on the set of all of it because he loves Dave Filoni, because he loves Jon Favreau. So if the two of them are in charge, then you get more George Lucas, and a lot of fans would be satisfied with that as well. Anthony says, Pedro Pascal's lack of presence in Season 3 led to the omission most likely. I thought for sure the last scene, Din Djarin's helmet would be taken off while Grogu was playing with the space frog. It's true, I thought it would be too, just because nobody was around and he could take off his helmet. It is sad that we still didn't get to see Din Djarin's face just due to scheduling conflicts with Pedro Pascal. It's a disgrace. and it should not be how it happened. Honey Badger says, that's how I feel. Give all the power to John and Dave and open the doors to Star Wars fans that care about the property and the lore. Honestly, it's a no-brainer at this point. Kathleen Kennedy has dug her grave, so let's just let John and Dave get in control. Ed says, Grogu needs a space mom and a space dad. Well, he's already got a space dad, so hopefully Bo-Katan can be the space mom. I completely agree, Edward. Honey Badger says, I'm down for a Bo-Din Kadarin, but don't make it too corny. I agree. Have her lead Mandalore and him do his own thing with Grogu bounty hunting. Well, maybe if he's done with the Grogu bounty hunting stuff, he can come be like the queen, the king, and she can be the queen, and Grogu can be the prince of Mandalore. That would be awesome. That would be quite cool. If I do say so myself. Speaking of George Lucas, let's get right into this as well. George Lucas reacts to Disney Plus's first Star Wars spin-off movie. So this is George Lucas himself talking about Rogue One. This is very interesting. So that's George himself. Star Wars screenwriter Tony Gilroy, who made Andor and is making Andor Season 2, I know, crazy, revealed that George Lucas' reaction to seeing his spin-off movie, Star Wars Rogue One, a Star Wars story. So this is very cool. George saw Rogue One and thought it was so good that he had to contact Tony himself. The founder of Lucasfilm has long been the overseer of all things Star Wars, with Lucas shepherding the franchise through 6 films over 40 years until his semi-retirement in 2012. Since being sold to Disney, Lucasfilm has produced a number of Star Wars projects without Lucas's involvement. This included the sequel trilogy, episodes 7 through 9, a number of Disney Plus TV series, such as The Mandalorian, the spin-off series like Solo: A Star Wars Story, and Rogue One. So what did George Lucas think of Rogue One? In an interview with Deadline, Rogue One writer Tony Gilroy revealed a discussion that he had with George Lucas about the spin-off film that actually also spawned in Disney Plus's prequel series, Andor. According to Gilroy, Lucas phoned the writer after the release of Rogue One to tell him he loved the movie. So this is what Tony Gilroy says. George Lucas called me after Rogue One. I had a 45-minute conversation with him after he saw Rogue One, and that's the only time I've ever spoken to him. He loved it. He really did. He had a lot of things to say that it was like a call from the president, he says. So Lucas's warm reception to Rogue One is interesting considering the mixed reactions that he had with Star Wars' films in the Disney era. Of course, he has voiced his opinions, George Lucas that is, of the sequel trilogy and how he feels about that. But it is interesting that he contacted Tony Gilroy, and that is the only time that Tony Gilroy has ever had a conversation with George Lucas. It was almost an hour-long phone call about how he loved Rogue One. So George obviously wants to kind of be involved or kind of have a say or even just be there. He wants to enjoy the product that he created if it's good. So when Rogue One is very, very good, he's going to call Tony Gilroy and give him his flowers, as they say. In Disney's CEO Bob Iger's memoir, The Ride of a Lifetime, Lessons Learned from 15 Years as CEO of Walt Disney Company, Lucas was reportedly disappointed following the screenings of The Force Awakens. So this is from that. Just prior to the global release, Kathleen screened The Force Awakens for George. He didn't hide his disappointment. There's nothing new, he said. In each of the films in the original trilogy, it was important to him to present a new world, new stories, and new characters, and new technology. In this one, he said, there weren't enough visuals or technological leaps forward. And again, that's what John and Dave love to do. They love to use the volume, which is a technological leap forward. They love to do all this other stuff to make The Mandalorian that much better. They still use the puppets sometimes. They still use CGI sometimes. And now they're even creating new stuff further down the line with the volume and all these other cool technological leaps, as George always loved to do as well. However, Lucas has thrown support behind Star Wars titles since his retirement. Ron Howard told comicbook.com that Lucas was really supportive of the Solo movie, even making a rare visit to the set of the movie. Again, George has come to set to many of these Star Wars projects if he is intrigued by them or likes them or knows the people around the studio, like Dave Filoni, like Ron Howard, like Tony Gilroy, who he doesn't even know but loved the project so much. So this is what I think Ron Howard's saying. George Lucas was really supportive of it. He doesn't get down into the weeds on the movies anymore, but he did come down to visit the set, which is a pretty rare thing. But he did it as a show of support, which is really cool. He was really complimentary, but he was also really confident when I came in that I would get the feel of it and understand how to maximize the entertainment values of these characters in this world. Jeez, can't read much. But Lucas has always been reluctant to single out any one of Star Wars movies as his preference, making mention that to MTV in 2015, easy, Jesus, I can't read right now, 1 second, that he could not pick a favorite. It's like my child, you can't pick a favorite. They're all different and special in their own ways. Boom, did it, done, okay. So what do we think about that? George wanting to be on set for certain projects and not others. He wasn't on set for any of the sequel trilogy movies because he hated them. He even voices his opinion that there was nothing new in The Force Awakens. He voices his opinion on how he doesn't like the sequel trilogy, but he also voices his opinion when he likes things. Rogue One, he calls Tony Gilroy. He's on the set for The Mandalorian. He's on the set for the Solo movie. George kind of wants to be involved, so let the guy cook, as the children like to say, you know? Anthony says, Bo Jarin, since apparently Din is the surname of the family, very true. As in Asian cultures, the last name comes first. Thus, the first name is Jarin and Grogu. Huh, interesting. So you're telling me Din's name is Jarin? I hate it. Okay. Will the character call him Jarin now? Will the characters call him Jarin now? No, they'll call him Mando still, I'm sure. What disturbs me, though, is neither Gilroy nor Kathleen Kennedy and the story group didn't think to consult Lucas on Andor. It would have helped the series greatly. Obviously, dude, none of them looked to contact George at all, except for Dave Filoni. That's it. Even with the Rogue One thing, George had to call Tony Gilroy. Like, nobody is reaching out to George except for Dave Filoni. And when you do reach out to George, sure, he'll come to set. Why not? He loves it was still his baby. It's still his baby. So yeah, it is a bummer. It is a bummer that nobody is reaching out to the guy who created this whole damn thing. It really does suck. But hopefully, we get Kathleen Kennedy out of there and we get Dave Filoni and hopefully Jon Favreau as well in charge and George is involved in more. But let's move on to another bummer of a story. Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill says he's done with Luke Skywalker. Now, we talked about this I think last week or something. I got a sneeze coming. Hang on. Okay, it's gone. Okay. We talked about this a few days ago or a week ago or so or whatever. But this is some more news, and this is a different interview, actually. This is coming out yesterday. So let's read this. Mark Hamill says that Star Wars doesn't need Luke Skywalker anymore. He doesn't see any reason to play him again. So this is coming off of course, the rumors that he's going to come back as a Force Ghost in the new Rey movie and that he's going to play a main role in Heir to the Empire as a deepfake Luke Skywalker. But here we go. Mark Hamill's days as Luke Skywalker are basically over. During an interview with CBS News Sunday morning, the Star Wars icon said that the franchise no longer needs him as the hero who helped make it a worldwide phenomenon. Well, you never say never, but I do. Actually, should we just watch this interview? I think I can pull up. Whoa. I think I can pull this. Mark Hamill CBS. CBS. No more Luke. Let's put that in, see what comes up. Here we go. Perfect. Yeah, this is 2 days ago. There we go. 8 minutes. We'll skip to the good parts.
Jedi can feel the Force flowing through him.
Really? That's older than I ever expected to be.
How do you feel inside?
Much younger.
This is about the Machine movie. Has anybody seen The Machine? I saw it. When did I see it? Saturday, Friday. It's funny, dude. If you know Bert Kreischer, the comedian, he's funny, but the movie's hilarious. So here we go.
Couldn't figure out, is this like a send-up of Flash Gordon or whatever?
This is him talking about when he got the role of Luke, but let's fast forward to it.
Broadway shows, including the role.
It's a crazy business.
Did that hurt?
Well, I was disappointed, but I thought all you can do is you got to go forward, you know?
Star Wars film appearance in 2017's The Last Jedi.
This is when they'll talk about
He
it.
can't.
That's enough.
So even though you say you won't go back.
All right, here we go.
You know, I had my time, and that's good. But that's enough.
So even though you say you won't go back, there's always a chance that there.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Well, you never say never. I just I don't see any reason to. Let me put it that way. I mean, they have so many stories to tell. They don't need Luke anymore.
You know that a lot of people out there would argue they always need Luke.
It's very interesting. He says they don't need stories around Luke anymore when we're supposed to be getting this Heir to the Empire movie where deepfake Luke Skywalker is supposed to be a very main, integral part to that story. I don't know if this is like a whole actors thing, lying, like actors always lie in Hollywood, or if this is Mark Hamill actually saying the truth. He doesn't want to play Luke Skywalker anymore. It's hard to tell with actors nowadays whether or not they're going to come back and play the roles. Maybe he's filming for Luke right now. We don't really know. But I don't know. When you look at his face, he looks like he's done. Let's watch it again.
If he'll ever return.
You know, I had my time, and that's good. But that's enough.
So even though you say you won't go back, there's always a chance that you could go back.
Well, you never say never.
He, of course, says you never say never. So obviously he gives us hope that we will see Luke again. But at the same time, it's like, it's unlikely.
I don't see any reason to. Let me put it that way.
He seems just done. Yeah, I mean, they really did him dirty with the sequel trilogy. So I'm not blaming the guy. It's tough. It's tough. You got to feel for Mark Hamill because he's such a great actor. He's a great human being. And he was put in a tough spot with the sequel trilogy. He was. And yeah, go watch The Machine. The Machine's actually pretty funny. The Machine. Okay. But it is interesting. I don't know. What do you guys think? Think we're done with Luke? Where was I? Anthony says, the joke is, since 2012, Lucas is contractually obligated as executive creative consultant to make himself available for any Star Wars projects. After the ST, I don't know what that means. The terms seem to have changed. ST. Oh, sequel trilogy. After the sequel trilogy, the terms have seemed to have changed. I fully expect to see Jedi Master Luke Skywalker appear in the Mandoverse, especially Mando, Ahsoka, Skeleton Crew, and the Mando movie. Yeah, I don't think this is the last time we're seeing Luke Skywalker. I think Luke Skywalker is going to play a main role in the Mandoverse moving forward. Whether or not we see him in the Ahsoka show, I don't know. Maybe a brief scene of how they met. That would be awesome. Like them meeting for the first time. That would be great. And I'm sure Dave Filoni wants to put that on screen as well. But I also think he's going to play a main role in the Heir to the Empire movie that Dave Filoni's working on. I just don't see a world where that movie comes out without Luke Skywalker in it. I just don't see it. I don't see it. Honey Badger says no, but I want to see it so... Oh, no to seeing The Machine, but I want to see it so badly. I love Bert and Mark. It is funny. It's definitely worth a watch. If you don't want to go pay the money to go see it in the movie theater, you can wait for it to probably come out on whatever comes out on HBO Max or whatever it is. But it is good. Edward says, Mara Jade was in the Heir to the Empire trilogy. She was the Empire's hand sent to assassinate Luke. Yeah, so and then she falls in love and they become an item. I don't think Mara Jade's going to be involved in this Heir to the Empire thing. I don't think they're going to do that with Luke Skywalker's character. I think it would help, honestly, if Mara Jade was involved. It would make a lot of fans happy, especially extended universe fans. Mara Jade's a great character, and to have Luke end up the way he is as the old hermit in The Last Jedi, Mara Jade would kind of only help that story, honestly. If she were to die to somebody, like to Snoke or something, maybe even Kylo Ren, who knows? But bringing her in, giving Luke that emotional connection, and then cutting it off, I think would only help. And of course, you would be getting a character like Mara Jade, which would be awesome. You know, Honey Badger says, I think Mark will return. He has to, especially for the Rey movie, because it definitely needs it. Yeah, that Rey movie without Luke would be a disaster. But Luke will come back if it's Mark or not. I don't know. I think if they're going to deepfake Mark Hamill, or Luke Skywalker, I should say, Mark Hamill's either going to want to be involved or is going to be involved. Let's be honest, the guy just did a commercial for Jedi Survivor for a video game he's not even in. I think Mark Hamill's just bullshitting us now. I think that's just a whole lot of horse shit, honestly. Family show. But I don't think Mark's done when he says, what? I don't think Mark's done. He said the same when he was younger. Oh, yeah. Yeah, true. I think he still loves to play Luke Skywalker. So I think any chance he gets, he will do it. Again, he just did a Jedi Survivor trailer or commercial a few months ago for a game he's not even in. And if Lucasfilm's smart, the guy's a walking bag of money. Luke Skywalker, you put him in anything, it's going to get views. It's going to make the money. So it would be dumb if he wasn't. Ed says, I think Mark Hamill wants to do more Star Wars in cameos and voice roles, but I think I think his distinction is about Luke. Yeah, maybe he's just talking about Luke moving forward, like in the Rey movie. Maybe he's talking about he doesn't want to play that old hermit Luke anymore. I think he kind of sees it as the Luke Skywalker he played in the Book of Boba Fett and in The Mandalorian Season 2 is the same Luke Skywalker from the original trilogy. But at some point, he becomes the Luke Skywalker from the sequel trilogy, and he doesn't want to see that happen. He doesn't want to go through that again. It's his Jake Skywalker, as he says. He doesn't want to go through it again, you know? It is quite interesting. Wow, we've already been going for an hour and 30 minutes. Jesus, that's crazy. I think we got one more article to get over. What did we miss? We talked about Ahsoka Season 2. We talked about The Inquisitor. We talked about George Lucas. We talked about Mark Hamill. We talked about Bo kissing Din. Oh, Old Republic. So the Old Republic game. There's still no update. It's still just nothing. We got nothing. It's still delayed indefinitely. I really, really hope we get the remake of the Knights of the Old Republic game, but as of right now, it's still delayed indefinitely. Now, this news has to do with the Old Republic game, the original Old Republic game. So this says that the Old Republic is going third party as BioWare focuses on Mass Effect and Dragon Age. So this is BioWare who created the Old Republic. They're focusing on other things. So whether or not that be because the Old Republic game was delayed or not, they are focusing on other things. So if the Old Republic game is going to be made, it's probably going to be made by a different company or a different studio that makes video games. But I'm still really, really excited for the Old Republic as a just time period. I don't know. I really hope we get that game. More Star Wars video games, please. Jedi Survivor was unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Like, so freaking good. That I just want more so badly. Honey Badger says, yeah. And Mark Hamill did just did a freaking Jedi Survivor promo. Mark Hamill is Luke Skywalker. He will come back as a Force Ghost and in flashbacks and probably deepfakes for Luke. Luke will return. I agree. I absolutely agree. I 1000% agree. But I think we're going to get on out of here. Let's see where the poll ended. 100% of you guys said yes, you want to see a season 2 of Ahsoka. No surprises there. But we're going to get on out of here. You guys are the absolute best. Thank you for all sticking around. What a great stream. Order 66 Day. Go celebrate responsibly. Don't go killing some Jedi. Watch out for a video hopefully tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Wednesday? Hopefully tomorrow. If not, probably Friday, because I don't like to release videos on live stream days. Live stream on Thursday, probably at 6 p.m. If not, I always get backed up. And if it does get backed up, it does go to 8 p.m., but usually at 6 p.m. 6 p.m. stream on Thursday. I will keep you posted on a Saturday stream. I might have something going on Saturday, but I might not. Smash a gosh darn like on this video. What are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe. Hit that bell. Check out that Discord in the description below if you want to join that and talk Star Wars with some Star Wars nerdy people. And of course, hit that bell so you get notified every time I post a video, and my pretty face will show up in the recommended feed of yours. Of yours. I don't know where your recommended feed is, so I just point in every direction at the end of every stream. But it's somewhere. It's got to be somewhere. So you got to hit the bell so that my face shows up in the recommended feed of yours. I always used to say that because I put my face in the thumbnails. Now I don't really put my face in the thumbnails anymore. I should start putting my face back in the thumbnails, don't you think? Hey, may the Force be with you. Always. Where's the stupid button? I'm so bad at this now. What a great stream. What a great show. You guys are the absolute best. Thank you for sticking around with me for this last hour and a half. You guys are so fun. We had a great stream. Happy Order 66 Day. Run, younglings, run. Exactly. What a great stream. What a great show. You guys are the absolute best for sticking around the stream, sticking around the channel. Shout out to Jonathan Welch. Shout out to Anthony, the YouTube fan. Shout out to Edward. Shout out to Honey Badger, of course, and others who tuned in and had some fun on the stream today. If you're watching on the playback, hi, how are you? Have a great rest of your evening. Have a great rest of your week. Have a great rest of your lives. And good night, everybody. Yeah.